What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Boil Up with Rapheal Davis podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, the Rapheal Davis podcast. Check us out at raphealdavisbasketball.com. Our camp's coming up in West Lafayette in March for spring break. Then also in Fort Wayne Community Schools, April 5th through 7th. Make sure you sign up on the website. Check them out. Today, we got a real special guest. Someone I grew up watching real close. Someone I grew up watching play ball, learned a lot from. I was sneaking to his workouts to the point where I got to stick into his workouts at Speeds with Brian. Someone, like I said, a great scorer. I think he's number 2 scorer in Northside all time. A guy that can really put the ball in the basket. Probably the best point guard that's ever played at Northside High School in Fort Wayne. One of the best guards that's ever played at IPFW, now PFW. A leader, a high school coach, a mentor, a trainer. Just a man of many things, all doing basketball. What's up, Justin Jordan? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you joining, man. It's always good to talk to somebody you know. So,
yes, sir.
What's up, Justin? I know you just had your first coaching experience with Whitko on the girls' side. I know your father grew up coaching on the girls' side. But I want to start there. What was that like growing up as a coach's son? Although, I mean, you wasn't necessarily coaching the boys, but you're still a coach's son. You're in the gym. You're at practice. What's that like?
It's different, man. I think it's something you got to be, something you got to get used to. But like I said, I was always around ball. And he actually did start off as a boys coach at Harding first, freshman coach for a couple of years under Al Gooden, and then transitioned over to the girls. But it's something that you got to get used to, and I stuck with it and loved it. And ever since then, I've just always been into it. So
that's what's up. And when did you, because for me, I know kind of your background with ball, kind of coming up, watching you play. But when did you pick up the ball? When did you know ball's for you? When did you realize, even though you were smaller, that you were going to turn into one of the best guards come out the city?
So I started playing when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Again, always in the gym. I think my true love came for it when I was about 8 or 9, playing in a Y ball. I was playing Y ball out in New Haven, and I just remember doing the basic stuff, working on my right hand and my left hand, and then I remember making my first left hand layup when I was like 9 years old. And I remember my dad just going berserk because we had worked on it for so long, and after that, the rest was history. So that's a special moment I always remember. So it might be real silly and basic, but it was a good time.
No, that's what's up. And obviously, you're good as a youth, good in all the Y leagues, good at that. Then you get in Northside, you kind of come into your own, you're playing behind some guys, and then kind of you take over. What's that like, being in a position where you are the best player on the floor?
Yeah, so when I got to Northside, my freshman year, there was 7 seniors ahead of me. So I had to wait my time. And at the time, I felt like I could have helped out or whatever, but I know those guys that were there, they were bigger than me, stronger than me, because I was a smaller guy coming in the high school. In practice used to be brutal. We used to get beat up on, and you know them guys, Jerron, and rest in peace, Jerron and Kevion and DeAndre Folks and Bear. That team was loaded that year, my freshman year. Like I said, we only lost like 4 or 5 games. Those practices used to just be rough. To come after you on defense. Offensively, they were huge. And I took my bumps and bruises, but like I said, I waited my time, and then I took some stuff that I learned from them in practices getting beat up on, and then I transitioned it into practice. And then by the time my sophomore, junior, senior year, I had the ball in my hands. I was able to make plays, and the rest was history.
So because I know now that you're coaching and you had a younger team this year, and like you didn't have the group of seniors for girls to have to wait their time. But for a young player that is coming to a good situation, because you want to go into a good situation, you want to go to a team that's winning, to where you be part of a winning culture. But how important is it to understand that sometimes you got to wait your turn, and sometimes it's not you, it's just that you got to wait your turn.
Yeah, the situation I'm in now, the school I'm at, they had a very good winning program a couple of years ago, where they had 5 or 6 senior girls that grew up playing together for a long time. And then just a couple of years, they've had a downfall, and now I'm trying to get it back to where it was. I'm starting the feeder program, so I got the 3rd and the 5th grader, the third through 5th grade coming in. I'm working with them Mondays and Wednesdays, and then the middle school girls, they're in their season. But after their season's over, we'll get to work with them. But my young team this year, all freshmen and sophomores, we got beat up on this year. nobody took it easy on us. So, it's just a lot of teaching moments, and then telling them what to expect. But next year, I know they'll all have a year under their belt. They'll all have a year of coached under me. So I got some good expectations going into the next year, and we got some good girls coming in from the 8th grade. So,
what's some of the things you look forward to? I mean, this will be your first off season. I mean, and like you say, you have a young team. Obviously, you're gonna take your bumps and bruises. I think my freshman year at Southside, we won 4 games. I mean, I don't think we were young though. I think like Steph and Greg were like juniors. Like 4 games. But
yeah,
what's
you
some?
guys are solid.
we were trash. What's some of the things that you kind of want to work on in your first off season with the girls? A young team, like you said, you took some losses, but you still want to encourage the girls that next year we're gonna be better. So, what's some of the things that you want to work on? You want to implement as a coach, or even to those middle school girls, to those elementary girls? What's some of those things that you're instilling in your program throughout this off season?
A lot of things that I'm doing here now is back to the basic fundamentals, because a lot of kids don't have it, especially when you go watch it. Some of these boys and these girls nowadays, some kids don't even know what a jump stop is. So a lot of stuff is just basics, man. We do a lot of ball handling, about 10 to 20 minutes of ball handling. We're working on your weekend. If you can't go left, we're gonna work on that a lot. But really, like I said, just basic fundamentals, bro. It's lacking nowadays.
It is. And I mean, I'm just curious. What's one of the reasons you would say it's lacking?
Just like I said, there's been the last couple of years I'll see kids where I'll see a trainer working with a kid on a step back instead of working with this kid going a left hand. Or just last year before the pandemic hit, I sat in Speeds after I sat and talked to some kids. I sat and watched this dude work with his son. His son couldn't use his left hand, and he was teaching him spin moves and Euro steps in the paint for 25 minutes. And I just got up and left because just a lot of times you see people that just they watch the NBA and they're like, I'm going to show my kid this. And, at the end of the day, it's good to see somebody working with their son or stuff, but it sucks because they're teaching them the wrong thing. But it is what it is.
No, Nah, and outside of coaching, I'm just curious, do you do any training and whatnot?
Yeah, I actually started training right when I got done with IPFW. I got thrown into it. I hadn't really been involved in the game or whatever with my injury. So then I kind of slowly got back into it. I started working with a couple of boys. One's a senior this year at Cherubusco, and then the other one is playing up in Dearborn. But Chris Paul's sons, those are the first kids I started working with. But after that, my clientele base, I've been doing it for years. Like my six or 7 year I've been training, so I've been doing it for a while now.
Where are you training at now?
So I just partnered up with OPS, so I do all my training through there. We just brought our whole girls program over there, our AAU program. So all of our stuff is through OPS. But they're building another 6-court facility in Fort Wayne that'll be done in August. So we'll have Sport One, OPS, and then Turnstone, and then Speeds will still be open. So that I think we'll have like 25 courts all within a 15 to 20 mile radius.
Yeah, so you can get in anywhere. And the reason I asked, I knew all of that obviously, but I definitely because I train as well. So for kids out there listening, for parents, especially in Fort Wayne, if you're looking for a guy that is teaching the fundamentals, teaching the skills of the game, not just out there doing things that your kid would never do in a game or shouldn't do in a game, or doing things that you look at other kids and say, why are they doing that? Justin is definitely a guy to get with. But back on coaching side, because I'm always curious to understand, because you were a great player. Is it easy going into coaching from the player's perspective, or does it make that harder?
No, it's hard. You got to remember, as a player, you can determine the outcome sometimes. Like if they got a good player, you're a good defensive player. I'm going to guard him. He's not going to score. You can't determine that. You can devise up a plan and try to get that plan done. But at the end of the day, sometimes it don't happen like that. So that I ran into that situations a few times this year. I had a bunch of great girls, a bunch of great kids. Just none of them played enough basketball. So it was just a lot of teaching. And there was times literally at halftime I wanted to put gasoline in my water bottle or some tequila. But like I said, at the end of the day, great kids, man. But I'd say that's the biggest part when you're coaching. Like biggest part as a player, a player, coach, or whatever, you can't determine the outcomes all the time. You can come up with a great game plan. It might not all happen, but hey, that's how it goes.
Through coaching, what's something that you learned about yourself?
The patience that I have.
Mm.
The patience. As a you always have that favorite coach you ever played for that just lets you play through your mistakes. You never want to have a coach that's always harping on you if you keep messing up constantly. I let a lot of stuff go. I mean, I had a third grade team a couple of years ago, and those little girls, boy, who kept me on my toes. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is patience. Like I said, I try to let my girls play through their mistakes because you don't want somebody yelling at you all the time. Play through your mistakes, but if you get to making 3 or 4 mistakes, then I'm gonna let you know about yourself.
Right. No, that's real. That's real. Because I mean, obviously, you play for a lot of great coaches. You play on a lot of good teams. You play with a lot of great players, which we didn't even really touch on your AAU days, which we will. But because for seeing a guy like you, and from my perspective, having 2 girls, that obviously I want them to play basketball. I don't think my older one will. I think my younger one will. But seeing someone actually take the time to teach a game, have patience behind it, but also been able to can also go out there and do it. Like I mean, because you can still go out there and do it. I think that separates, especially young coaches sometimes nowadays, because kids nowadays they want to take instruction, but they also sometimes want to know if you can do it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But how big is it for you to with your program see the future, understand that we may have took some lumps here, but to see the long haul as a coach and not get frustrated with the immediate stance of the program now?
I think the biggest thing is you got to have a plan, and then you got to start to map that plan out, and then you got to set goals for your program. Like this year, my goal was to have 14 girls. I ended up having 15 and one got hurt. Because last year, and then another goal was to have a JV team. They didn't have a JV team last year. We had a JV team. And then next year, everybody will be back, and then I'll have these 8th grade girls coming in. So I think you got to have a plan, and then you got to map it out. And then you also got to work on, you got to have a big off season. You got to work with these kids because a lot of times just a lot of people will take like these jobs, these smaller jobs just to, make more money, or, they're just taking it for their own reasons. I had a couple goals and a plan that I'm still working on or whatever, but those are my goals, and we met them this year. And then I got some that are set for this upcoming season. But this off season is going to be huge because I didn't get a summer with them last year because of COVID, but I get one now. So we get to go on these shootouts. I get to work with them for like a couple of weeks, and then we can go from there.
No, that's big. And I mean, obviously it's important to have an off season just so the girls get comfortable with you. You get more comfortable with the girls. But I mean, I've never even, I mean, you said that to me, and I never even thought about other things that coaches have to do outside of just coach the teams, even in high school. Because you talk about they didn't have a JV team last year. You got to build a JV team. So it's bigger than just obviously you want to win and you want to have a successful season, but sometimes it's bigger than that. Sometimes it's about building the entire program to have longevity, because it's tough not having a JV team when you have a varsity team.
Exactly.
I don't even understand how that could work. So what is the sophomores that were on your team this year? They just went straight from freshman to varsity.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the girls I played learning experience.
Yeah,
varsity.
That makes sense.
Varsity is a big jump from going JV to varsity. So it was a lot, man. It was a learning experience for me too. Yeah.
No, that's real. No, that's good. I appreciate you. That's a big responsibility. Nah, you ain't just a lot of people will walk into a situation, but it seemed like you took on a situation that you knew what you were taking on, having to build something from the ground up.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I tiptoed around taking a head job for the last couple of years, and I just felt like this was a good opportunity and situation for me. So
So man, yeah, I hope you're there. When my oldest, I convinced my oldest to play. She might come play for you.
we'll see. It's different out here. You know what I mean.
So back when, like I said, kind of when I was sneaking into workouts, when Brian was inviting me to workouts, when Justin was running the town, getting 30, averaging 27 a game, I think he was top 5 scorer in the state. When you go on those AAU tournaments, you're from a small town, you're from Fort Wayne. What would that be like going into some of the biggest tournaments, playing against some of the top names? Because, and I'm bringing this up because I don't think a lot of people understand who you used to match up with in the summertime outside of Fort Wayne. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously we were Speece Indie Heat guys, so we always had a good team. So I can remember me and Deshaun going on the bus, a charter bus to Arkansas, playing in the Real Deal on the Hill, and then we're playing our first game. We might play against Lance Stevenson or somebody, or John Wall. So we're from Indiana, so they're like, man, we're about to smash these guys. And we would always beat the best teams, and then lose to a team that had like Russell Athletics jerseys. And Todd just used to go nuts. But yeah, we one summer we beat Rodney Magruder's team. We beat John Wall and then by like 30. We never got to play against Jordy Holes. His NAA elite team, they were always pretty good. We'd always like lose the game for it to get to them. But yeah, one summer we played John Wall's team, Rodney Magruder, Tommy Mason Griffin. Yeah, we played DeMarcus Cousins one year. We beat all of them and then lose to the Terre Haute Jammers. So this is how it went. But yeah.
Is there any games that stick out to you or any matchups that you can remember? Anyone that you just really want to go at?
I wanted to go at Jordan Holes. But John Wall was a good one. That's when he was like starting to blow up on YouTube.
Yeah.
He was just stupid fast. And I was quick as well. That was a good one. And then we always matched up against the Speece Central Stars. They had my man he played at Purdue. I can't think of his name. Kelsey Barlow, yep. Yeah, Kelsey was on that team with Jared Hamilton. We always play against them in like a championship. Those were always good matchups. And then we played the D1 Greyhounds a couple of years. They had a couple guys go to Ohio State. But those are some good ones. We'd always play, and then we played Mac Irving Fire one year in the Run and Slam Championship. Lost to them in double overtime. Dude hit a half-court shot. That DJ Paul, was that his name? Brandon Paul was on that team. Yeah. He was on that team, or he was on Illinois Wolves. We beat them that year. But yeah, it was a lot of good matchups, man. A lot of good matchups.
Yeah. And just going back to kind of what you said earlier, just the different gyms now that's building in Fort Wayne, because you saying all these matchups, you say something about the Run and Slam. Mm-hmm. I go to Speece. I see this vision in my head. What was that like growing up playing in Speece Fieldhouse? What does Speece Fieldhouse mean to you?
God, it was like, there's really no words for it. I mean, we go there, work out all the time. It was just like the Omega for it. It's like another home, a second home. Right. We'd go work out with Jared at 6 a.m. before school, and then we go work out again with him after school. But just seeing what's going on with it now is sad because, like I said, I could remember my first time walking in there, and I was like 10 years old. I got to watch Robert Vaden play. He was playing against my cousin. They were beating the brakes off of them. He was on a Municipal Gardens team. They were huge. I think they were in like the 8th grade. It was like him, AJ. I can't think of his name. He played at IU. They were loaded though. His team was low. They won some big tournament. The whole place smelled like paint for years. But yeah, I mean, just seeing how it is now, I hate going in it because they just let it just go to waste. But Speece was like another home for us. I mean, you know how it was. I used to love going there to work out.
Facts. And now, Justin, man, from AAU watching you to playing you at Northside when I was a freshman, I mean, it's always been just a good time being around, understanding the leadership that you brought, the mentorship that you brought. I'm excited for the young women that get to grow up under your leadership, but also just the young people. Obviously, you're in the school system, you're in the school. So even then you're in a different area than the area that I grew up in, I'm excited for the impact that you can make where you are. You know what I mean? I think you definitely make a lot of impact, especially not just within basketball, but then you have an AAU program as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my bad. I didn't even ask you about the AAU program. Well, how big is your AAU program? Because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, but I went right by it. You got a lot going on, man.
I do. Yeah, man, I appreciate those words. I can remember when you were in the 8th grade and you started training with me my sophomore going into my junior year. And I told Jared I used to hate working out with people. And I remember you came out of his car. I was like, man, what's he doing here? He was like, he knew. He's like, man, he's working out with us. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then ever since then, you've been like a little brother to me. So it's been all love, bro. It's been all love. But to answer your question, man, we've got 6 teams. We got 4 high school teams, and then we have an 8th grade and a 7th grade team. And like I said, we just partnered up with Lutheran Hospital here, OPS. So our teams are now OPS. But it was we started. This would have been my 3rd year having the program. But it was me and David Goodwill. It started off. We were small. We had a couple high school teams, and then it just blew up from there. We're genuine. We're always honest, and now we're to the point where we got kids from Ohio, we got kids from Michigan. We've coached girls from all over the place. So we get good players, and then we have them at a young age, and we keep them together because girls is a little different than boys. They got the shoe, they got the EYB and all that stuff. But for girls, if you're good enough, you're gonna get seen. You don't need to be like on a circuit or whatever. But if we do have one of them diamond in the rough girls that is just elite, we do try to put them in the best direction. But for the most part, we keep it genuine, and we help girls get into school, and then we go from there and push them.
Dope. And what would you say would be the biggest difference from coaching AAU to coaching high school?
I have, I'm at a 2A school, so I got 4A girls, and you can just tell the difference in their bodies and stuff. But AAU, like, I've been spoiled since I've been coaching. Every team I've had 1 or 2 girls go Division I or NAIA. Like last year we had 9 girls, 8 of them went all NAIA. The year before that was the best team I've ever had in my 20s. I had 4 girls go Division I, 2 go D2, and then a couple go NAIA. So, and then right now my 23s, I've got 4 of them that'll probably go Division I, and then the rest of them they'll go D1 or D2 or NAIA. So I've been spoiled with talent, man. So then I gotta go.
It happen.
Yeah, so I go from that, and then I go to my 2A. So you see the comparison from there.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And are you looking to do younger? I know you said 7th through high school. Are you doing 6th in elementary, or is that you just leaving out?
Yeah, we'll have a 6th grade team in August, and I guess I told you I had a 3rd grade team a few years ago. They're all 6th and 7th graders right now. But I've had a 3rd grade team. We're going to be working on a 4th grade team, depending on our numbers. But like I said, we just take one thing at a time. So we don't like to have multiple teams in divisions, because then that's more work. But right. I think where we're at right now is going to blow up. So we'll probably end up having a lot more teams. So, but we'll see how it goes. We've had great feedback since we partnered up with Lutheran Hospital. So it's been awesome.
And what's the name of your program?
We were timing the ball. Now we merged, so now we're all OPS.
OPS. Now, yeah. So if you're looking for an AAU program, whether you be in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, West Lafayette, Ohio, Michigan, as Justin just said, definitely look at OPS, because you clearly can hear the passion behind what you're saying. You're obviously clearly sending girls off to college, and it's bigger than just, like you just said, it's bigger than just getting them. It's bigger than just basketball. And I always try to make things bigger than basketball, but I know you as a person. I know you're not just X's and O type of guy. You want these women to be successful people in real life. You know what I mean? So that's I'm excited for all you got going on, from AAU to high school ball to training. I don't see how you have time to do anything else.
Yeah, my fiance, she hates it. She hates it.
Hey, Justin, where can we follow you? Where can we see your work? Or if someone wants to get in contact with you to train or join your AAU program, or what if a girl listens to this and they want to transfer to Whitko? How can we get in contact with you?
I'm on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Justin Jordan 012, or you always reach out to me. I'm on OPS's website. You can go to optimalperformancesports.com. I'm on there, and then you just look me up. I'm easy to find. So.
Well, no, JJ, I appreciate you joining us again. Like I said, the best point guard, the best guard to probably play at Northside, probably one of the best guards to come through the city of Fort Wayne. I stack it up against anybody. Anybody want to have that conversation? So I mean, to be able to do what you're doing now in the community with basketball, with the youth, still living your life through the ball, it's really, really cool to see. I can't wait till these freshmen and sophomores in your program become juniors and seniors. Hopefully, y'all can make a state run. That'd be real cool to see, man. But I mean, if you're out there, definitely check out JJ, what he got going on. Check out our basketball camps at RaphealDavisBasketball.com. 2 spring break camps this month in West Lafayette. But then also we have our Fort Wayne Community School spring break camp in Fort Wayne in April 5th through 7th. We're raising money still to send as many kids to camp for free. It's a hard year, hard time for everybody. A lot of kids want to play ball. A lot of kids want to be in the gym. So we're just raising money to send kids to camps, clinics, just play basketball all year round. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Rapheal Davis Podcast, Boil Up with Rapheal Davis. A lot of exciting news coming forward. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Any last words, JJ?
Nah, man, appreciate you having me. And go Boilers, go Dons.
Nah, man, get that Don shit out of here. Boiler up.